Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
Come on. I don't know what's happening. I can't see.
It looks like the screen that I see is
all right.
Yeah, good.
It's frozen, right?
Yeah, it was.
All right. Well, let's go live. Screw it. I think we're fine. Who cares at this point? All right, folks, we are back with your TBC Weekly. I appreciate you joining us. We're going to recap last night's Michigan State game. Shawn was in attendance there in Spartyville, and he's going to give us a little lowdown here in a sec. Also, we are – I got a question for the chat. So this is, whenever you join the show, we're going early. I'm sorry. We're going early. I got a serious head cold. I'm probably going to have to go to bed early. So unless you guys want to watch me sleep, let's get it out of the way, get the show out of the way earlier. Although I know I have gotten requests for the sleeping show. Anyway, question for the chat. Very simple. It's a yes or no. Who hates the Peacock app?
Yes.
I think that's going to be across the board 100% yes, unless we have executives from Peacock watching the show, which I really doubt. So that's the question. I'm trying to keep it simple here. I'm not going crazy. I know the answer, but anyway, it's just really frustrating, man. I tried to go back and watch the game today. Have you tried that, Shawn?
I actually did. So I was at the game, and usually it's recorded, and I can fast forward through stuff. On that Peacock app, it's an unmitigated disaster. You can't tell where you're at. So I tried watching it, and I couldn't. And every time you fast forward to try to get something else, the ad pops up for 60 seconds or 90 seconds.
Gary Sinise?
I might have had different commercials than you. I don't remember that one specifically, but
I hope so. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But anyway, I hate that app, and I was really disappointed that I couldn't go and do. Usually my Sunday ritual is to go back on my YouTube TV and rewatch the game, and I can fast forward through. It's recorded, and and it works well. Well, I would have thought. Sorry about that.
You dropped off there for a sec.
Yeah, sorry. Incoming call. So I would have thought they'd have kind of the same setup, but that app and that thing is trash, and I'm probably just going to cancel it. I got it last year because the Buckeyes played on there one time, and I've had it ever since. $7 a month or whatever it is, and
still too much.
Yes. So anyway, not a big fan of the Peacock.
How could they make it harder to go back and watch any of their stuff? I mean, seriously. I got it like years ago when it first came out because they had all the episodes of The Office. And I was like, wait a second. I'm probably going to watch these episodes over and over and over for years to come. I'm just going to buy The Office box set or whatever and cancel this Peacock shit. Then comes around, thanks to Kevin Warren, that cocksucker signing this Big Ten TV deal, yeah, we're looped back into Peacock somehow. I can't explain it, but regardless, this is where we're at. I pray to God we are not on this app again the rest of the season, but I wouldn't be shocked if in 30 days plus they try and broadcast another Buckeye game to get another bunch of return subscribers and boost their freaking numbers, right?
Oh, I hope not. I thought it was okay. It's once a year. It's kind of like the Big Ten network almost. It's like once a
Yeah.
year, Big Ten will get an Ohio State game, and it's usually a pretty not that important game. Um, and I figured that would be the same with Peacock. You get one a year, and that's that.
Yeah. Kind of like your wife giving you a BJ, right?
It's a little frequent.
We laugh because it's true. Anyway, yeah. So I think we're all on board. Peacock app sucks. We'll get into your questions and comments in a bit. But let's see. Since Shawn was at the game, let's let him go ahead and set the scene and let us know what he thought. Jeff, I think, will be joining us. We'll find out. But Shawn, I'll go ahead and turn the floor over to you. What'd you see? What'd you hear? What'd you smell?
So no, got over there a couple hours early, tailgated, ran into some friends, had some laughs, had some drinks. Beautiful night in East Lansing. It was pretty amazing driving over there. It was basically raining till you got west of Ann Arbor, and then the rain stopped. And so we got there. There wasn't any rain until I think it was the start of the third quarter, but it was that real fine mist, like that. It's so fine, it's hardly even hitting the field. It's so fine.
Okay.
But you can see it up in the lights. But no, it was a nice night for football. Buckeyes traveled well. Lot of red in that stadium. I bought my tickets the night before. I bought pretty good seats. Had some good people around me. Had a Buckeye and his wife and dad next to me. Had some other Buckeyes. We were on the visitor side. On the 30-yard line, 25 to 30 in between there.
Nice.
And yeah, and lower section, probably row 40. Yeah, great seat.
Okay.
Great seat.
Nice.
So that sets the stage for it, and I'll let you go into the numbers, and I'll certainly make some comments on it. But no, it was good. I had friends invite me over there for a tailgate. I said, well, if I'm going over there for the tailgate, I'm gonna watch that game because this might be my only chance to see the national champions play live this year. So
Very true. Yeah. And you don't mean Sparty.
I don't.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Yeah, I was surprised because I was checking the forecast in the days leading up, and it looked like it was going to be in the mid 50s, something like that. And a chance of rain, but not much wind or anything. And then day of, I saw it right around game time. It was 70, right?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. You can't believe it that late in September, and.
Right.
Yeah, I brought a hoodie in with me, but I never put it on.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I mean, I had a long sleeve on, but whatever.
Yeah. Nice. So, were you surrounded with a lot of green, and
No,
you
because I
didn't
was on
wear?
that visitor side. I bought mine the
Yeah.
night before, and you could get
Yeah.
tickets. Cause I just did it basically through the ESPN link on Vivid Seats, and I looked, and it turned out my son and wife wanted to go, so you could get
Oh,
tickets for about $50, and then there were, but those were kind of shitty ones, and I mean the ones we got were pretty good seats for $90, $92 a piece, which I
nice.
thought, yeah, might as well have a good seat for it.
Yeah.
And again, you're not going to touch a seat like that in Columbus. No way,
No,
not for that money.
no, no,
Not for
definitely
that
not.
money.
What's the concession and the concession area restroom situation like?
Troughs for the boys, like old
Okay.
Tiffin Columbian Stadium.
But you can get in and out quick.
Yeah,
I'm
big.
talking about the bathroom, not the other stuff inside the bathroom.
Yeah. You can. And I didn't go to concessions. My wife and son did, and the hot dog was good. I didn't drink
Nice.
any beers because I quit drinking when I went into the game because I had to drive home. So
Oh, sad. But yeah, okay. Just trying to get a taste.
and then basically, so we stayed, and it started that light misting.
Yeah.
And once the Buckeyes scored the first touchdown in the third quarter, we bolted, which is probably what halfway through the
Yeah.
third quarter.
So the end of the game.
Yeah. We're like, all right, and we weren't the only ones. It was empty. That's the
I'm
most
sure.
green I saw. The green was emptying out quick at that moment.
I imagine the students left before that, right? Did they ever come
No,
back after half?
they did, but I felt that was the last straw. That was, I mean, it certainly thinned, but after that, it was mass exodus.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Let's see. Where should we start? I'm going to keep an eye out for Jeff. Hopefully, he will join us soon. I realize we're going early, but thanks, folks, for jumping in.
I did
So
I don't know what you got or what you're gonna go through, but I did a good, bad, and ugly for this.
perfect.
So,
Let's go there. Tee it
all
off.
right, all right. The good, we gave up 0 sacks on the
Ah,
stat sheet.
you take my
So
fucking one right off the bat. Okay.
there's not that many. This was a kind of, just ho hum type game. I kind of felt the same. That's why I like going first because I figure some of these are getting taken. Um,
Yeah.
and OSU travels. I'll take Ohio State travels well for my good. Then Joe, you can have the 0 sacks.
No, that's all right. I was going to go a little bit further on the O line. I talked about it a bit this morning on the daily or the instant reaction on the Daily Blitz, but the good, I'll go a lot spreading the ball around. A lot of guys touching the ball, hands on balls, but this is particularly on offense where it's you're supposed to touch the ball. Anyway, 3 guys threw a pass, 5 guys had a rush, 9 guys with a reception. So I realize some of those may be redundant somewhat, but still, spreading the ball around is important, especially in a game like this where you you can't really name your score, but you can almost name your score. Like you're happy. Like Ryan Day said after the game, he's like, we wanted to get that score up to 35 and then get the other guys in. So that was the goal. He knew what they had on defense and offense. So yeah, I'll go. I'll go spreading the ball around. That's real good,
Nice.
especially getting Will Howard going early. But yeah, so what you have? You got the 0 sacks.
Yep.
Okay, I would add to that when we're talking about the O line, 5.3 yard average per rush.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
solid. Um,
And
let's
and, and,
see.
and, and that's because you've got what really brought it down was people's average and garbage time. Where he had like 10 carries and only averaged 2.3. I mean, the real average to me
Yeah,
probably been closer to 6.5, 7.
right. But nobody broke 100 yards. But it was still a strong average, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I talked about today the number of pass plays. They really were focused on getting Will Howard going early. Like what I count, I lost count. I was counting so many passes in the first 2 drives alone of the game. Like Will Howard pass left, Will Howard pass right. This is the first drive. Will Howard pass left, Will Howard pass left. Trey rush up the middle. Will Howard pass left. Will Howard pass right. Keeper, Will Howard. Will Howard pass right. Will Howard scrambles to the right. Then they had to attempt the field goal because of that stupid penalty by Kazmary. So I didn't count those up. Seemed like a lot of passes to me, minus maybe 2 rushes. And then basically the same thing for the second drive. Pass right, Travion rush, pass right, pass left, Travion rush up the middle, pass right, pass short, right, Quinshawn rush, Will Howard pass up the middle, touchdown. That was the first 2 drives of the first quarter for the Buckeyes. So a concerted effort there. Oh, here we go. Let's get Jeff in here. I can hear his static already. All right. Transition him in. Jeff, you've been transitioned in.
All right. Good to hear from you, I guess.
You too.
Got home as fast as I could, guys. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's all good. So we were just setting up. Shawn laid out his experience at Sparty Stadium. Sounded like an interesting night. And what else? We're starting with our good, bad, and ugly. We're rolling through our goods. Shawn had 0 sacks by the O-line. I had... What the fuck did I have? I was on my other document. The touches. Ooh, what is that? You sound like Chewbacca.
That Shawn?
I don't know. I hope not. It reminds me of that movie V. Remember V, Jeff?
Oh, man.
The lizard people?
Yes, yes.
Anyway, I had the touches by everybody. 3 guys threw a pass, 5 guys had a rush, and 9 guys had a reception. So you can go ahead if you got a quick good, bad, ugly. We'll start with the good and circle back around.
I'll go just paratrooping in here. I would say the good, the overall defensive performance. I thought they played well. The score that they gave up is not their fault. You give a team the ball at the 10-yard line, it's tough to stop them at that point. So I would say just overall defensive performance as a team was good. Okay. I really liked what you were saying. The distribution to the ball. That would have been something I would have thrown in there as well.
Yeah. All right, let's circle back around to Shawn if he's got his visitors.
Can you hear me?
Oh no. You might want to do something like that. Oh.
Yeah, he does sound bad.
Take a moment, take a breath. And,
Is it still the same?
Yeah, it's like reverberating and crunchy and stuff. Yeah.
I'll rejoin.
Oh,
hey,
that's better. You fixed it.
Hey, all you do is say you're leaving.
Just threaten to leave. That's what I do with my wife. Hey-oh.
And it all got better, huh?
Oh, there you go.
Of course.
And we're back.
What?
I
Back
tell you
again.
what, Joe, for spending Saturday night in the landfill, doesn't sound that bad though.
Landfill?
Is it bad again?
East Landfill.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's bad again.
All right, I'll reconnect.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was distracted. But yeah, I guess that's what you get coming out of the landfill, right?
You trash mouth.
Marble mouth. All right, let's do the bad then, and we'll wait for Shawn to reconnect here. Bad, I'll let you go first if you're ready to go.
Just off the top of my head, just kind of getting back in here. Kazmarek's personal foul, killing the drive. Come on, man. That's just bad ball right there. Can't have it. Picture that game, Nebraska maybe, or somebody's going to maybe give us a closer game. God forbid, even in Oregon or even Michigan. Opening drive, a lot of momentum, and then you need to blow it out of the water. Can't have it. Bad ball.
Right. I do have some highlight videos coming up here tonight, so stay tuned for that. and we will get to your questions and comments. Again, I appreciate everybody joining early. We're trying to do this early tonight. So I sound like I'm from New York, and I will not stomach that. Let's see. Shawn, we're going through our bad right now. Jeff did the good for him, and we're kind of circling back. Go ahead, Shawn, if you're ready.
Yeah, is my voice any better or still bad?
Oh,
Sounds
that's
good.
perfect.
Yeah.
As
Okay,
good as it
great.
gets, anyway.
I'll go with, to me, I'm going to say the slow start. There were a few Sparty fans around me. They were getting excited. You know, the first quarter we had a 3-0 lead,
Yeah.
and I expected more. I feel like, you know, we start a little bit slow, and our defense gives up, you know, some chunk plays early in games. I feel like we correct and just, you know, really pour it on after halftime. But I feel like we've had a couple slow starts here with Marshall and these guys, where it's like, no, just come out and dominate from the word go. I think they're
Yeah, that's
capable.
fair.
I don't know what's stopping them from doing that.
Yeah, I would say the drive killer was that what Jeff just brought up was the Kazmarek penalty on the first drive. We were down there inside the 10, and he gave a guy the business on the ground after blocking the shit out of him. Unnecessary, but maybe a little touchy penalty call by the ref, right?
Yeah, it could go both ways, but I mean, he finished the play. I mean, they're taught to finish. That's how they're, when they're blocking. That's how you finish the play. But I,
Right.
I mean, you've got to be smarter than that to get that in that situation. Can't have it.
Yeah. And to talk about the slow starts on defense, I mean, 7 plays, 55 yards right out of the gates for
Yeah.
Sparty. That can't happen. And then followed up by a 5-play, 64-yard drive that ended in a fumble. Thank God. Otherwise,
Oh,
you're looking at a score there. They were in the red zone,
yeah,
right? I mean,
Yeah.
Hancock luckily got that fumble, and that was very close to the guy being down. Was
Oh,
it
that was. I mean,
Veiling, the tight end?
that was so
yeah.
freaking close.
Yeah,
Great play by Ransom though. Another one of those just throwing a punch at the ball.
yeah.
Hancock, right?
No, Hancock recovered it. I think Ransom was the one that knocked it out. I believe.
No, that one was a Hancock.
Oh,
The other one,
I got it.
the one they
Yep,
got behind the line of scrimmage was Ransom
that's right.
punching it.
So I got him switched. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should be
making
wearing
plays.
some boxing gloves out there. But yeah, okay. So bad for me. I'm going to target one person, IGB. 5 targets, 69 yards allowed, and a touchdown. I know it didn't affect the final score, but if you're from, looking at it from the desert, it could have. So IGB, he's always been the target. They avoid Denzel, even though they threw one right to him this week. They
Yeah.
typically avoid Denzel Burke, and IGB's become the target. Excuse me. So IGB is my bad, just because he was the guy that gave up the most targets, honestly. So ugly. Let's go back to you, Jeff. It's not a
Cool.
personal attack.
Um, yeah, call on me to call out the ugly. I'll tell you what. Give me a sec, Joe. Yeah, go ahead and go to Shawn. Let me get his take.
All right, Shawn, what do you got for ugly?
The pick to me was ugly, and I didn't go
Okay.
back and really rewatch it, but sitting there live, that was right over on our side of the field, kind of right in
Mm,
front of me
yeah,
there, and I don't know what he was doing throwing that ball,
he stared him down,
and
didn't he?
yeah, I felt like that wasn't good, and I mean against Sparty, but again, Sparty still had some confidence at that time, like hey, we're in a football game here,
Hmm.
and yeah, that was need to clean that up a bit.
Yeah, that was early second quarter. You know, killed a 4-play, 24-yard drive that we started at our own 43. That definitely would have ended.
And then they scored right
points.
after that. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. That converted into a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, let's see. That play particularly pissed me off because he just stared down Emeka. The corner cut in front, and then the linebacker, number 7, took at least 3 or 4 steps and was able to get there in front and take the ball away. I mean, it's like, if you're going to stare at the receiver, you may get it intercepted. So, Ugly, what do you got, Jeff?
That's probably about the most glaring ugly thing that we saw. That's off the top of my head. That's all I can really think of. Those downright ugly and the opening drive for them, I guess, would be. Even though Shawn has the bad, I say it's the ugly just because it's the second time we've seen it now. Long play drives till we kind of get our shoes under us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a couple long drives, like I mentioned, 7 for 55 and that 5 for 64, where they broke off. Obviously, to rack up 55 and 64, then there was a 9-play, 59-yard drive. You got to get some chunk plays, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree that those drives are annoying just with the chunk plays alone that make up that drive. But for my ugly, wait, Shawn, did you go with your ugly?
Yeah, the pick was my ugly.
The pick. Okay, sorry. 10 missed tackles by this defense. Last week was 8. This is a very, very disturbing pattern I'm seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Sonny had 3 missed tackles last week alone. 10 by a defense cannot be stomached. We cannot have that. And it was across the board. It wasn't one position. Ransom 2. Aaron Scott had 1. But, I mean, Scott was only in there for like freaking 12 snaps. Caden McDonald, D linemen are always going to get him because, they're getting like one hand on a guy's shoulder pad or something, and they can't bring the guy down because they're engaged with a blocker. I get those. So they're not all okay, but C.J. Hicks with 1, of course, because he's C.J. Hicks.
That was the most glaring one. That was the most glaring
Burke,
one I saw.
Hancock, Simon, each with 1. 10, double digits. I cannot stomach when it comes to missed freaking tackles. No, you got to clean that up. And that's after this past week. Was it Tuesday, I believe? Jim Knowles said our linebackers have to tackle better. He specifically said those words. And it's like, okay, then
And they haven't.
this falls on Laurinaitis and the other position coaches. I'm really frustrated with the missed tackles. Can't have that. Got to clean that up now, especially going against an Iowa team next week that is run heavy.
Yeah, then they got the nation's leading rusher, right? Is he still
Probably.
the leader?
They're as a team, they're I think number 6 in the country in rushing yards per game.
And they're not trying to hide anything. That we know what they're going to be doing. They're not. No secrets there.
Yeah, you can only hide so much in those cornfields, Jeff. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So on our score predictions, Buckeyes covered, so that's a good thing for those of us that indulge. I had 49-9, Shawn 42-17, Jeff 42-13. I guess I'll go ahead and take the dub there too. Oh,
Of course, why not? Of course.
They only scored 9. I had the Niner.
Okay.
You guys had 17, 13.
Joe, take your victory. So you can have them.
I'll take a victory lap. Anyway, we don't need to talk about microscopes. I mean, we can. I had Trey and Jack. Jack got the fumble recovery. Shawn had the highlight reel guy. Let's get right into Shawn's guy here. I got some videos for you. Let's see if I can. Yeah, here we go.
Like a JOP bullshit, but if that's not defenseless, then I don't know who is, because he's got his back to him and he's on the ground. That was missed, and then there's another one that I was like, well, those would have been called. I've seen Ohio State get called for much less several times.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that I did not see a targeting call in any of the games I watched this week.
I
I
didn't
saw a
know
lot of
either.
penalties, especially in that defensive struggle, the classic SEC game, defensive struggle, Georgia versus Bama. No targeting. A lot of penalties somehow escaped the targeting call. But anyway, we can get to that when we get to it. But yeah, that's a good point, Jeff, because I remember seeing some head-to-head safeties versus running backs, specifically Ohio State running backs getting head-to-head. I don't know, just hits.
Yeah, the Michigan State guys leading with the crown and making contact at the head. Yes, yes, it was a couple of them. I said, well, I counted two in the first quarter, for sure.
Yeah. So after that, so what's funny is I know you guys are probably aware of this because I sent it to you. So after that Tua concussion a few weeks ago in the NFL, all of a sudden, all the referees across the country in all levels of football, top to bottom, NFL, college, even I heard down to high school, they were warned to make this a serious, send a message, basically, that because lawyers were watching, concerned parents were watching, and others of interest, and so the refs were told by their conferences that you need to send a message and make sure that we're taking this seriously, specifically the targeting stuff, the head-to-head shit.
Our kids' school just got shells for all the kids, and then they wear them in practice. I don't think anybody on our team wore them in the game, but a couple of kids on the other side. Was that 2 weeks ago? I think the whole line had them on the whole game.
That's interesting. I'm glad that high schools have them. Some of them, I'm sure not all, because that's obviously an expense that many can't afford. But that's interesting. So my question.
Coming off of that. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was asking, what positions predominantly are wearing them on your son's team?
Nobody during the game, and I haven't been to practice. I have to ask him because they just got him last week. I feel like there's a big push, but again, we saw other teams that we were playing. Like I said, they had at least 6, 7 kids on the other team that were playing. But in particular, you noticed it because they're all lined up next to each other. One O-line that we played all wore them during the game. All 5 of the guys. So I mean, those. I don't feel like they. I mean, I guess if they're getting a running back that's coming at them hard, they get a lot of head collisions. But to me, it doesn't. It makes more sense for running backs and linebackers and maybe safeties to be wearing that type of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it doesn't really do much for probably receivers and DBs, but safeties and linebackers, people in the middle who get a nice running start and then are just clashing into each other. I agree.
I guess if, you're O-lineman, if you're playing linebackers that are filling holes and coming up and taking on blocks hard, you might have some hard impacts there.
And also with offensive linemen, there's not the momentum and that speed of contact, but there's head contact every play. I mean, so you're getting those little contacts, the little hits, not constantly, one after another. So I've mostly seen it just when they show tape of like NFL practices. You see more linemen wearing them than anybody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
mean, because I still think the NFL, those guys are probably thinking of comfort and like maneuverability. So like the skill position guys probably are staying away from them more. Maybe the running backs wear them in practice, like you said. I can't imagine seeing a wide receiver like in a game and at any level.
Unless you're coming off a head injury.
Sure, yeah.
I can see a guy like, you got concussed a week or two ago and you first came back, you're going to wear the shell.
Yeah, and we might see more of that in college come up as the season goes along. Guys that maybe pick up an injury like that, maybe by the 7th, 8th game or whatever, they're wearing them. But I just
Are they legal to wear in college or NFL during the game?
NFL,
yes, they are. NFL, they are.
I don't know about college. I have to assume that it's just a matter of time, if not yet, because, I mean,
But
as a
it's worse
school,
than that.
they're definitely going to say, okay, you want to wear the shell, but we're just going to go ahead and hold you out for liability reasons.
Yeah, because let some lawyers hear that. Oh, you're not allowing the safety measure to be
Yeah,
worn.
yeah,
Don't let a lawyer hear that.
and why? I mean, it also depends on the player, right? Is this a key player, a quarterback that is
Yeah.
trying to come back early from a head injury? Then you probably listen to him versus a tight end.
I don't think
Whatever.
you'll see too many defensive guys wearing them just out of pride. Like, I don't need that
Yeah,
shit.
right. I agree. I agree. I think that's true across the board too. I mean,
Yeah,
most guys are gonna push away from it.
until the numbers come out and
Yeah.
years of people, a lot of people wearing them and like, oh wow, head injuries and CTE and all that stuff's coming down um, because of this.
Yeah, that's what
And
Ryan Day actually talked about during fall camp. That he was asked about it in one of the media sessions, and he said, "Yeah, we got data from a study from the NFL, and they recommended it for practice. So I think it's just a matter of time before we see it in games. And hey, maybe it spawns a new kind of fashionable helmet, right?
I mean, they're light. The shell's light, but I still got to think. I mean, they look so big. It's got to slow you down somewhat.
Maybe.
that's I think why the skill position guys are probably hesitant to it. But Joe, like you were saying, all it's going to take is some of these big name guys, that the high school kids or whatever that they're looking up to. They see their
Patrick
favorite,
Mahomes starts wearing one. I
Mahomes, or
mean,
Holmes, or like
Yeah,
the stud
anybody.
receivers
Yeah.
or something like that. You see,
Sauce Gardner.
yeah, it's gonna take guys like that where these guys in high school, that's who they're trying to emulate. If
Hmm.
their guy starts wearing it, then they're gonna put it on at least and say, oh yeah, it
Right.
looks all right. I can get the matching color and
Yeah,
whatever young kids are doing. So uh, I think that's what it'll take to see that kind of filter down to the younger kids.
I still
Some
think it looks
big name
goofy
guys
as.
gonna wear 'em.
I still think it looks goofy as hell though. It's hard to get used to
Oh
looking
sure,
at.
it does look ridiculous to me,
Yeah.
and it looks bulky. Like just looking at it, like, oh god, I wouldn't want to wear that either. But
I
I
know.
would be interested to put it on to see and feel the difference. Um, I'm sure everybody's tried them on. I'm sure even they just no, I can't be caught wearing that. The defensive pride stuff.
Sure. All right. So before we get into the Iowa pregame, you guys want to talk about some of the other big games this past weekend?
Yeah, a
I
couple nice games.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Let's see. I went back and watched a couple more today. I did. Let's see. Again, the classic SEC defensive struggle, 41-34, Bama over Georgia. Um,
I,
Shawn called it, right?
Hell yeah.
Dude, Georgia came back and took the lead.
I know. I got a phone call at like 11 something at night. I was almost home. I was about 3 miles from my house, and they're like, "You're not gonna believe this! Like Georgia scored all these times." I'm like, "What?" And then I
You're
actually
lucky it
got
wasn't me.
I pulled in my driveway and I caught the very end of that.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
very end, the last. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
I don't know. Where do we start there, Jeff? I mean, quarterbacks,
well, um, I, ta-
defenses,
I
I,
didn't watch it.
penalties.
The
It
number
was
just kept getting
disgusting.
flashed up in the stadium. I'm like,
Did it?
what?
Yeah.
uh, the first half, Georgia didn't look like they belonged in the same field as Bama. I mean
Right.
that Georgia. I mean, the first quarter, I said Georgia fraud. Like they're getting exposed. Um, they
Carson
do.
Beck
They have
has the eyes of a goat,
uh, Carson Beck was
right?
playing like a goat. He was playing like a real goat the first half. He played like the goat the second half. Taylor too. I said at the halftime too to a couple people at the house here. I said this game is going to go a long way in the Heisman race for sure. Jalen
Yeah.
Milroe, I think, has taken firm grip of that Heisman race.
Yep.
Just he balled out in the big game. Carson Beck looked like dog shit first half. Dug a too big a hole to come back. They had that crazy comeback, and I was 3 TV in with the Illinois Penn State game as well, but could not believe kept getting caught over to that game. Like holy shit, that guy's
Yeah, because
17.
nobody could play
Wait,
defense.
what? Yeah, definitely.
Penalties.
Georgia got exposed on their back end, not what they used to be. They still got
And
five
front
stars
end, I
back
would
there.
say. They couldn't
Well,
contain Milrow.
couldn't contain him, and not really much of a rush either. I mean, he didn't. But yeah, I know at that time too. If you put a lot of rush on him, you're putting opening lanes, and you're trying to. You think you might give up more space for him to run, but you got to get people in his face. You got to get some inside pressure from him and try to contain. But you got to get your push up the middle.
But he's
The
still
thing
going to bounce
is-
it outside. Right, Shawn?
The thing is, you've got, what happened? They should have 2 losses now. Kentucky outplayed them a
Yes.
week or 2 ago, and
that
took
was
on
the-
their leg on that. And I'm just wondering if Georgia is the same Georgia. I still think Carson Beck's a heck of a quarterback, but is this the same Georgia team that we've seen the last 5 years?
No,
It's
no.
just-
I don't think
These
so.
new
Absolutely
polls might
dominant.
tell you that right now. Bama number 1, Texas 2, Ohio State 3, Tennessee 4,
Without
Georgia
playing.
5. This is the AP. Oregon 6, Penn State 7, Canes 8, Missouri 9, Cheaters 10. What? Did you guys
Yeah.
watch the game?
Cheaters
They
went
moved
up to 10.
4 spots.
Yeah.
They went 4 spots. Holy
They
shit!
2 spots. Yeah.
I thought they were
Coaches
14,
poll
okay.
doesn't matter. We don't count
Did you
the
see
coaches
the?
poll.
Did you see late in that game the controversy, the onside kick?
Yeah, I was leading the charge in the controversy.
I
I
missed
mean,
it.
that's an L. The Cheaters take an L for that game. They fucking played a great first half, owned the Gophs. Which what are you doing? Really owning the Gophs? Is that really like something you want to put
You're
a
doing
feather
what
in
you're
your
supposed to
cap
do.
for?
It's like
Yeah.
paying for your kids.
Right. I got a lot of off-color jokes I could use right there, but they are lucky. The Cheaters are super lucky, and I think Sharon Moore after the game summed it up well. He said it's back to the drawing board. Yeah, because you guys are about to get wrecked.
That drawing board just must just be a whiteboard because they're wiping it clean week after week, starting over.
Right. And that win over USC does not give me any. I'm not impressed. USC was
they
getting
ran the
their
ball.
ass kicked by Wisconsin.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. Michigan comes out both those games. They got leads in both those games. They
Yeah.
fall apart in the second half. They don't have Michigan has no depth,
Right.
and they don't have Connor Stallion stealing the signs and adjusting at halftime anymore. And
Right, that was their
they're getting
key.
destroyed in the second half.
That was their MO, right? They would make the adjustments at halftime. They'd go in maybe down 3 or within a touchdown, and then second half they'd just come out and blow people out of the water in the third quarter. Not anymore, my friend.
well, I mean, they can't run the ball like they used to. Even though USC, I think that's how piss poor USC's run defense is, because
Yeah.
Michigan didn't do anything. They just ran their run plays only, and they just found a team that couldn't stop it. There's going to be a lot of teams
Well, yeah.
they play that won't be able to stop it. And yeah, it's not like they have more offense to go to. That's all they had. It just happened to work against USC. It's not going to work against many more teams.
You cannot build an offense, a running offense, where your quarterback can't throw the ball downfield more than 5 yards and just bank on getting 60-yard runs occasionally. That doesn't work, man. It works against crap teams like USC who are afraid to tackle their own shadow, but it does not work against normal teams. Minnesota
exactly.
gave him a fucking battle. Surprisingly, yes, I said that.
I mean, and there's going to be a lot of teams in the Big Ten. They're going to be able to. All right, we're going to load up the box. We know what your power lead game. We know you're going to run your off tackle, and they're going to play their defense to stop that and say, well, let's do this until this kid can actually beat us down the field. And I don't know if he can. They might start taking. They could take some L's against some teams that we didn't even think they might, just because of the defensive efforts and stopping
That
them.
Illinois and that Indiana are not going to be
No,
They got
Walk through the
Illinois. Yeah.
park for those boys.
no.
No, in Illinois is legit. Um,
Yeah.
they're not explosive enough on offense, but they will hang around with everybody.
Yeah.
I think, and that was a
Tell you
close
what,
game. That was a real close game.
it was, and they covered. Thank God. But 21-6 in the second half of that Michigan game versus the Gophers. They were outscored. The Cheaters were.
Yeah.
That's not going to work long term, man.
No, and they moved up. They moved up to 10. Wow. Well, I mean,
It's
you
laughable,
had
right?
we had one top 10 team or two top 10 teams lose. Where did Ole Miss fall? I'm curious because they were sixth, I believe.
Oh, they have.
I thought they would go to 10, and everybody from 10 down would move
well,
up.
I mean, or is Kentucky for real? I mean, Kentucky should have beat Georgia. They just beat Ole Miss. I think Kentucky might be a pretty good football team.
They got a good defense. They don't have much on offense either. Georgia played like
They're
shit.
not in the top 25.
Really? Yeah, they're one loss to South Carolina. They lost
Sure,
somebody.
but they're in
I
the
think it was
others
South Carolina.
receiving votes. They got 6 votes in the top 25. So, yeah, Kentucky's not real. Missouri's not real. Cheaters are not real. USC's not real. Canes, who knows?
might be
Penn
real.
State. Yeah?
Canes, I mean,
Maybe. Cam Ward's a difference maker. He is.
Strictly on strength of schedule, I'll hear that. Yeah.
oh yeah, I've looked at their schedule. They're getting in. There's to me, I don't see a path they don't get in. That schedule. Is
Watch them
weak.
lose to Florida State.
A rivalry game? You never know. Right, but it looks
That
like
might be one of their toughest games left. They probably got two
It
others.
is.
but-
It is.
Clemson-
Exactly, yeah. You got
Clemson's got Florida State next week.
that vaunted ACC matchup, Cal versus Miami. Then you got Louisville. Maybe Louisville's their toughest. That's the only ranked opponent left.
And they were gaming
that?
against Notre Dame. They were there. I don't know what that
That's in
says about
Bourbon
them.
Country, so that's
Yeah.
good. But the rest are garbage. G-Tech, maybe. It's in Atlanta, so maybe.
I don't. It
At
doesn't matter.
Syracuse, can Kyle McCord conjure up, some kind of magic? I doubt it. So I'm glad this poll is kind of shaken up a bit. That's what she said, poll assassin. So Georgia down to 5. That's a reality check. At least now Kirby can use that as bulletin board material, right?
Yeah, it would have. It didn't. They didn't. They could stay at 1 and he'll make up shit to those teams.
You people
but yeah,
thought we were going to go 5-7 this year.
Yeah, that seems logical to me. That's how I thought. That's how I thought I'd see it. Bama goes to 1. Texas. Us in Texas 2-3, and I didn't know. I thought maybe then Tennessee. Tennessee didn't play last week, right? And they were 5, and by not playing they just moved up to 4, and then they put
This
Georgia
week.
behind them. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oklahoma last week, yeah.
Yeah, I think Tennessee had an off week.
Yeah, they did. They got
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Well, that's
coming up.
that's nice. You move from 5 to 4, just not playing. That's about where I saw Georgia. I didn't think Georgia was going to go out and get dropped out of the top 5, especially with Ole Miss losing 2. But that's about what I thought. How I saw it shake out.
Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia, Bama. That's a nice little round robin tournament coming up. You can throw in Florida if you'd like, but I'd rather not. So yeah, Tennessee
No.
has Bama. That's at Rocky Top, and then at Georgia, middle of November. So
Well, yeah. Well, that's when we'll find out. We'll find out about Tennessee in a couple weeks. They look good, but Oklahoma's not. Oh my God, that's one of the games I was watching too.
yeah,
I was Oh my God, I don't know. Oklahoma doesn't have a quarterback. They're lost.
Yeah.
I
good
guess
thing
some
you said
athletes still,
Dylan
but
Gabriel packing, right?
yeah.
Good
Yeah,
call there.
Jesus. And the kid that
Indiana's legit too.
They are Signetti, Spaghetti. He don't play.
yeah. Yeah, Indiana's improved.
He
I
also
thought-
knows the
which I
spread
didn't
every week, just to guess.
think- Yeah.
That middle of the Big Ten to me is about as strong as I've ever as it's been in a long time. I mean, I think I think a Rutgers good. I think that Illinois, Indiana, Nebraska. I think those are solid teams. Of course, the Wisconsins and Minnesotas are trash now. It seems so. I guess maybe just shifting on who was good on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like you said, Sean, I think the middle of the Big Ten is just as good every bit, uh, every inch that the SEC's middle is. You say you take
Yeah.
they take out the top five SEC that they throw in the top 10, of course. Their middle of the road is not. I mean, Florida, Nebraska, Illinois are dog walking Florida.
South Carolina,
Arkansas,
Vandy,
South Carolina.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean those are doormats. So doormats that I think even a Rutgers coming in the way Rutgers plays.
I got a problem with Indiana and Illinois being down here at the bottom of the top 25.
I know, no respect.
LSU is 13th. Come on, man.
Ah,
USC beat them.
hey, because all right, well, because the SEC now LSU's still going to be a quality win. Now they got to make sure that all these SEC schools get quality wins for beating 13th ranked LSU.
They
And
played
it could have very
nobody.
well be 23rd. Yeah, exactly. But they're all going to get to play each other, so they're all going to get credit for losing or winning against each other. We know that game. The SEC plays it. Quality wins and quality losses across for everyone.
Right.
Everything's quality in the SEC. There's no bullshit. Yeah, right.
I know. Yeah, I'm not even paying attention to the Big 12 anymore. I really don't care because you're only going to get one team in the playoffs,
And
you're
it's
gonna
not
be
Utah.
smoked first round.
I was saying earlier yesterday, Utah's my pick out of Big 12. They could be a top 5 team at the end of the year. No, I should have
Well,
just kept
they're
them out a
18th.
couple hours later.
Iowa State's 16th.
Really, Cyclones
That's
are up ahead of them. Jeez.
That's it for the Big 12, yeah. I mean, you got K-State down at 20, Boise State 21. Yeah.
K-State blew out Arizona. Arizona just took it to Utah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
we
why I
did-
don't
we
pay
did-
attention to the Big 12 because I don't have time for it. We're
Yeah.
trying to get
We-
like 11 other teams from the Big 10, SEC, and maybe one ACC team in, 2 at the most.
Yeah. Clemson's got Florida State next week. They could get Clemson in a big shot. Yeah, Clemson. Look at Clemson, Miami in the ACC championship, kind of bearing down at each other.
All right, any other games from this weekend you want to cover before we get into this preview of the Iowa game? John, anything?
One quick thing, Joe. I was going quad box, and I had Colorado UCF along with the Wisconsin USC
I
game.
saw that.
Travis Hunter is the best player in college football,
Probably, yeah. I can't.
hands down. I don't see it. I haven't seen anybody better.
I didn't follow that. Who won that game?
Oh, Colorado put it on him.
Oh, really?
Strictly on the back of Travis Hunter, I think.
Yeah.
He's
See how
got
long
body
he can
control of
stay
NFL receivers. He's got
Yeah.
coverage skills of corners. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I don't know if he can play 100 snaps, 12 plus games. But he is the best. He's the best player in college football.
I thought Whiskey really had USC against the ropes.
They had him.
21-10 at the half. I was watching that game live. I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit! Luke's gonna get it done in the Rose Bowl or in the Coliseum." I was like, "Holy shit!" And this Coliseum stadium, not very full, if you know what I'm saying. It looked like crap. It looked like friends and family only.
I think those jerseys that they put in the one end zone. I think they're making those jerseys bigger and bigger and bigger to cover up more area that they don't have to sit somebody.
And if you're
Those
sitting
jerseys
up
are like
next
20
to
feet
those,
long now.
you can't even see the field from there, man. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? But anyway, I thought Luke was going to pull it off, maybe get a feather in his cap for this season. Maybe that be his signature win because otherwise they're in big trouble. Losing to Bama, losing to USC. I know those are storied programs, but you still got Penn State, Iowa, Oregon, Nebraska. Yeesh. I don't think they can beat Nebraska right now.
8-4. He's lucky if he gets out of there 8-4. If he gets that, finishes 8-4.
Long way.
I see a 7. Yeah, it could be a 7-7 or not 7, 7-5, very easily.
I have 7-7, please. Extra 7. All right. Henry, did you catch the Penn State Illinois game?
No, the score was flashing up there. I saw it was 7-7 for a while, and then got home and
100%.
checked and saw it was looked like Penn State scored a few more. I didn't watch any of it though.
I went back and
Yeah,
watched that today. It was interesting. They had Penn State had their tight end 44 Warren. Is that Tyler Warren? I think
yeah.
they had him running at Wildcat quarterback
Nice.
for a few plays.
That,
Like 3rd and
that's
5,
not
he'd
nice.
get 15.
And why is Drew Holler? Why is your prize your leading quarterback, your big man on campus? Why is he not? They're going to the Wildcat. They're going to gimmicks when big plays are needed. Drew Allard is still not. He has not progressed past a middle of the road quarterback. They don't trust him. They try to take bigger shots on the field, but they're still not explosive at all. I mean, they run game and they play good defense, and that's how they hung on against Illinois 21-7 or whatever it was. But they're not explosive. They
Yeah,
couldn't
they
run
ran
away
the
from
ball
Illinois.
great. They ran the ball great, 241.
Yeah,
Katron Allen with over 100. Singleton almost 100. But Tyler Warren, you take 44 and 15 off that team, they're in big trouble. But, yeah, Illinois, I was impressed with their defense. They actually kept it relatively close throughout the game, even though their offense couldn't do a lot. What they put up here, total yards 219, and they stayed within 2 touchdowns.
yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm
impressive.
saying. Their defense they'll stay in games because of their defense. But if you're just constantly 3 and out, or
Right.
punting 3 straight drives, you're just thrusting your defense out. And of course, Illinois is not to the point where they have the depth and all that kind of stuff. So they're getting worn down by their offensive um,
And tack on 2
ineptitude, I
turnovers
guess.
there for the Illini. That doesn't help matters.
No.
Okay.
But they're a worthy opponent though. Illinois is gonna give a lot of teams all they can handle. I might be looking at an upset over there. I would like to see that Michigan game spread.
Mm,
When it comes down to it.
yeah.
When do they play in Michigan?
2 weeks. Purdue
2 weeks?
next week, then Cheaters. That's in Champlain. Then they go.
Aha.
Illinois goes to Oregon. I'll tell you, that's a ball game right there. I want to see that defense against the Oregon offense. I don't care where it's at. Bert don't give a fuck.
That's a tough trip out to Outson. I mean, for a team that doesn't have much depth.
Or Eugene.
Well, Outson Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that's about all the games I was thinking of, Joe. Wisconsin had it against USC and let them come back. Michigan should have lost. Bullshit. Travis Hunter's the best player in the country. I tried watching Oregon.
I do feel a little
Reason
bad
why
for
is-
Spart. I do feel a little bad for Sparty though. You just had Ohio State. Now you're traveling out there on a Friday night. This Friday they playing out there. That's good luck, Sparty.
At least it's 9 p.m. So there's that.
Catch that red eye home.
Might just want to stay over, man. What do you guys got going on next weekend? You guys got a West Coast game? Might want to loop in like a UCLA. But anyway, all right. So that kind of wraps up week 5. This season's already flying by. I can't freaking believe it. I spend my Saturdays and Sundays watching college football. I watch live stuff on Saturdays with multi-screens going. But I can't see everything. So then Sundays, I start the process over. Maybe I can get a 60-minute version of some games, but not all of them. So I got to like revert and go with like the YouTube versions of the 15, 20 minutes. It's just, I feel
Yeah.
like I spent 48 hours straight just watching college football. There's no way I can loop in anything else. But anyway, all right, let's kick off week 6. The upside of being on week 6 is we have 2 buys this year. So at least we know we're kind of getting a longer season. That's a good thing, I think. It's always a good thing, right?
Longer's. I've heard longer's always better.
Well,
Which,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it depends on how hard it is, actually.
well, I'm usually told, "Hey, thanks for being longer than," and so
Oh,
people seem to be happy with
oh, okay. I've never
it.
heard that before. You sure?
Yes, uh, I got proof.
Proof. All right. Like video evidence?
No, back to the
No,
podcast.
thank
All
you.
right, and back to the show.
And back to the show.
And that was your
I do
boner-filled
like the extent.
conclusion.
I do like the extension of the season. You're right. I love the fact of having two buys. Hated we had one at week 3. That's ridiculous to happen that early when you're playing your four bullshit teams or whatever early. To have one in there, that's just the poor scheduling on the Big Ten's part. But I do like the fact of having two. I think these kids deserve it. Going at each other for weeks on end.
Okay, so I did want to mention because we talked about Jalen Milroe and the Heisman. He is the favorite right now, plus 250.
Yeah. Uh,
Travis Hunter plus 500, Cam Ward plus 550, Ashawn Genty from Boise State plus 900. Then Nico, then Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers. Can Quinn Ewers really be considered if he's missed multiple games? I don't see that.
he has the resume win early that they're still banking on. Now, if it goes 2 more weeks, you see his odds will fall off the table, especially if Arch keeps playing the way he is, making plays the way he is.
Yeah.
I think his odds will get bigger and bigger. I don't know, Travis Hunter. If you my only concern is the health, but man, plus 500, you should have got him when he was plus probably 1,500 a couple weeks ago. But his number's going to get smaller and smaller if he stays healthy. That he is kind of we're looking at maybe a Milrow Hunter.
Maybe.
Who knows? Somebody from
Still
Ohio State,
early.
and
Still early.
as finalists. Yeah, health is a big thing. He playing 80 to 100 snaps a game. Man, we're not seeing too many guys doing that. So
If you were into Carson Beck and didn't want to pay the number one favorite odds, which was probably plus 300 at the beginning of the year, you can get it for 2,500 now. So the Andy Pettit of Georgia, I call him. All right. So Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith are the highest
Jim and
Buckeyes
Fall
at
River.
plus
That was a phone call, right?
5,000. Yep. Yep. So that's where we're at. Anyway, let's get into this Iowa game.
I mean,
quickly.
Jeremiah Smith. You can't. All right.
What? Receiver's not going to get it. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not a freshman, anyways. But
Yeah. All right. So Iowa comes into town. We do not have to venture to the wildly cornfields of Middle America. They do come to the city. 3:30 on CBS. Iowa's 3-1. Buckeyes obviously 4-0. Both teams 1-0 in the Big Ten. Kirk Ferentz, have you heard of him? He's been around there a bit. What's he entering here? Season 26.
34, 26. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't know he was a linebacker at Connecticut from 74 to 76. Do you guys know that?
Cradle of coaches.
I'm sorry?
Cradle of coaches.
He's like cradle,
Is it?
cradle of coach.
It's not New Hampshire. It's also not Miami of Ohio. But yeah, I could see that where UConn is the cradle of coaches for sure. 10-4 last year, solid. 3-1 so far this year. I mentioned they have 10 returning starters on offense, 8 on defense, but they did lose. What's his name? The white boy corner.
Oh,
He's gone.
Dejeen.
Yeah,
Dejeen,
Dejean.
yeah. Dejean. Yeah, all three of the 3 guys. I think the 3 guys they lost on defense are all in the NFL right now, all playing.
Yeah. Probably.
But yeah, but that's a lot of returning starters.
Right. Phil has them at their Big Ten unit rankings. Number 7 quarterback, I would argue that. Number 7 running back, I would argue that as well, in different directions. Number
Right.
17 receivers, probably accurate. Number 7 O line, maybe better. Number 4 D line. Number 1 LBs. Number 2 DBs. And number 2 special teams. So we know this is not a surprise, right? Especially those D line, LBs, and DBs and special teams numbers, right? I mean, they're always top 5 in the Big Ten.
They run the ball, play good special teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was doing some digging today, and I was digging out my neighbor. No, just kidding.
Jesus.
Numbers. That's a joke. They had flooding downstairs. Sorry. My dehumidifier's been working overtime because of you people. Anyway, offense is averaging 6.0 yards per carry running the ball. Then on yards per pass, 5.8. What do you think of that? 6.0 per carry, 5.8 per pass. I've never seen that.
That's the most Iowa stat I've ever heard.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at, folks. Let's look at stats. Cade McNamara, he is a 62.7% completion percentage guy. He averages all of those 5.8 yards. He does not short you one bit there. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 4 sacks. Now, seriously, folks, running the ball, they combine as a team for over 1,000 yards rushing already. Caleb Johnson is their bell cow, 685 on 82 carries. That's 8.4 with my reading. It's not math, I just read it. 9 touchdowns. You got some other dudes here, Patterson, Moulton. These guys chip in a few here and there. And they got a bunch of running backs. Holy crap. I didn't know they had this many running backs. But anyway, receiving, these guys do not do much at all. Luke Lachey, 12 receptions. He still hasn't hit 100 yards yet. Jesus. No touchdowns, which is unusual for an Iowa tight end, right? You'd think that's the go-to guy in the passing game. Nope. Then you got Addison Ostringa, the other tight end, Zach Ortworth. These guys haven't contributed much. And then where's Caleb Brown? There he is, down there with 1 catch for 18, former Buckeye. So that's the offense. Any input there? Any comments on this Iowa offense?
This is Iowa, Joe. This is Iowa. I mean, I'm surprised there's not more production out of tight ends, but they have a quarterback that's a game manager at best, and they have a strong-ass run game, good offensive line. They're going to play good defense, play good special teams, try to stay close. This looks like the Iowa that we've seen in the last decade. How many years? 26 years now? It's the same goddamn Iowa. We got to be able to stop the run, and not have ugly turnovers with that pick. Because that's what keeps Iowa in these games. And in 2017, got us blown out.
Yeah, Iowa's still Iowa. Disciplined, good running game, good run defense.
Nothing's changed.
I was looking through some of their past games, and one thing that popped out, I didn't even look at the other ones to see, but in their game versus Troy, they had 0 penalties on the game. It's damn near impossible to get through a game with 0 penalties. So to me, this is going to be a game that's, as far as a lot of this game, it's going to be a really close thing like Michigan is. They're going to be hard to run against. These guys are, just like Michigan will be. And they run the football. That's what they do. It's what they like to do. So it's going to be, obviously they don't have the mobile quarterback that Michigan's running out there now. But by the time we play Michigan, they might not have a mobile quarterback either.
Yeah,
that's true. And Michigan could have had this immobile quarterback. Matter of fact, they
That's
did it
right.
one time.
I think the last time we beat Michigan, he was a quarterback, I believe.
Very possible.
Our last
It was
win against
pre-COVID.
them.
Had to be pre-COVID, right?
He's been around.
Yeah. So yeah, Iowa's putting up 29 points a game. That's 57th in the country. Yards per game, 366 on offense. That's 71st. These guys are not breaking any records. They're not going to be in the top 10 in anything on offense. Yards per game. Now you're doing pretty well there with 253. That's sixth in the country actually. So I'll eat my words on that one. But the Buckeyes are fourth in the country, allowing 63 yards per game. So kind of a strength versus strength matchup right there. Definitely going to need Tyleek back at full strength, and going to need some guys behind him to provide some depth. Passing, we don't need to discuss that.
No.
Buckeye offense versus the Iowa defense. Buckeyes are averaging 48.8 points per game. That's third in the country. Iowa allows 18.3. That's 23rd in the country. Yards, Buckeyes are putting up 535. That's third in the country. Iowa's allowing 300. It's 22nd. So, yeah, a lot more of that. Rushing yards, they are second in the country. Fifth, allowing 64 yards per game rushing. And then passing, they do allow a little bit more there, 84th in the country in the pass game. So kind of might paint the picture of how the Buckeyes try to attack this defense. Buckeyes are 12th
Sure, I think.
in passing yards.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It seems like the matchups and the stats you're throwing out. It looks like every Ohio State Iowa game. Their middle of the road pass defense, or vice versa, their run defense is phenomenal this year. What we've been trying to do is really bludgeon people, run the power run game. Yeah, this might be the week where we switch it up, and we do a lot more shotgun empty sets,
Right.
4 wide receiver type stuff, and just really stress them deep. But we're still gonna have to. I mean, we're still gonna want to run the ball and establish it. So that's what we got to do first. We got to establish the run. That's gonna open up everything else we want to do.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into our score predictions, the Hawkeyes are 3-1-1 against the spread since 2009 versus the Buckeyes. 2022, Iowa held Ohio State to just 66 yards rushing, but still lost 54-10. Sounds familiar. We might see a reboot. So right now I got the Buckeyes favored by 20 and over under of 44.5. So obviously a typical low scoring affair thanks to one side of this matchup. So who wants to go first on the score predictions and then the microscopes? We go scores first.
I'll go.
Jeff goes first.
I got Ohio State. Ohio State 48. Or Iowa 9.
Oh. You love a lot of field goals, don't you?
I'm not sure how they're gonna get that 9.
Okay.
But easy cover, hit the over. I think we do cause turnovers.
Yeah.
I think we can. They might have some running. They're gonna have some rushing numbers. That guy's probably gonna break a couple. I mean, we're missed tackling a lot, so there's probably gonna be some. They might have on 150 plus on the ground, but it might be 60 yards passing with 3 turnovers type of game. So
Henry, what you got?
I'm going 38-10. I actually I came up with that number today, and then I went back and looked at my preseason prediction, and that's the exact same number I had then.
Wow.
wow,
You really
Clairvoyant.
deviated from your thinking
Solid.
initially.
That's right. I don't change my
it's
mind.
all playing out exactly how we saw it, Joe. It's his crystal ball.
Yep.
It's all coming
Um,
through.
6 months ago.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it a little bit different. Maybe I think we will run and force the run on them. I don't think we're going to be held to 66 yards this time. I think it's Chip Kelly now. Chip Kelly ain't going out like that.
Hmm.
And I don't want to. I want to see this game. I want to see the Buckeyes be able to go up against a run defense and still impose their will. And that'll
Hmm.
obviously open the passing game. But I expect you know 140 yards plus on the ground for the Buckeyes.
Nice. I like that. All right, Shawn goes 38-10. I'm going 31-9. I don't think we're going to be able to put up as many points as we have recently. So I think this is not going to be a difficult game as far as a tight one going down to the wire or anything. But I think we'll move the ball, maybe get out to a double-digit lead at half, and then, kind of not really coast, but just seal things up. And again, I think Iowa is more than content to kick field goals anytime they're inside the 50. So, or punt. They may punt inside the 50. They've done that. That's very possible. So, Buckeyes roll, cover the 20. Obviously, that doesn't seem like a stretch. So let's go back to Jeff for microscopes. Give me your offense and defense.
Mm. Um, Microscopes. Let's go off the board here. Maybe let's go G Scott.
Oh,
Maybe show a little tight end love in the land of tight end against Iowa. Maybe G Scott gets a little more in the passing game, run game. I don't know.
how the
Just looking
turntables
for him to
turn.
maybe just seeing if G Scott can make kind of have another big game, get a touchdown, some big catches maybe.
Hmm.
You can go with any of the other offensive stars we have. Spotlight on Jeremiah Smith. Well, he's already going to have a million people to spotlight. So just going to go off the board there.
Well, there's only three of us on this show, so it doesn't matter.
Well, right. Jeremiah Smith's almost like the quarterback every other year. It's like we shouldn't be allowed to pick him
That's fair
because
enough.
he's like the number one guy we're all going to be spotlighting. Somebody other than.
All right. Go ahead with your defense if you're ready.
I'm back. I'm back at the linebackers. Um,
Hmm.
Sonny Styles. Cody Simon seems to be a little more of the general and stuff out there, but Cody Styles is getting put in position to make a lot of plays, and he's not making enough of them. I assume that that's probably by our design on our defense.
Hmm.
He needs to make more plays. Sonny Styles
Oh,
needs to be impactful.
yeah. Okay. Styles. Got it. All right. Shawn, what do you got? Offense and defense under your microscope.
Offense, just to reiterate and pile on to what I said earlier, 140 plus yards. I was going to take one of the running backs, but decided I would take Donovan Jackson
Oh,
to
wow.
pave the road, and I don't know who will do it out of Trey and Q, but like I said, I think a steady dose and 140 plus rushing yards, all running behind Donovan Jackson.
Nice. All right. Who do you have
Oh,
on defense?
yeah, and on D, the same thing. These guys are going to be running the ball at us, and I think Simon needs to. This is where you got to have the guys in the right spots, fill in the right holes, and let's see if we can hold this guy. This Caleb Johnson's good, um, but he's really all they got. So let's key on him and Simon get the guys in the right spots to make those plays.
Nice. All right. I was going to go Cody Simon.
Go CJ Hicks.
No. I like
I'll tell
starters.
you what, you see Avril Reese out there basically at the start. You see him on the field a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I'm going to go offense, Carnell Tate, because I think he's Ohio State has so many weapons in the pass game. Carnell Tate is almost forgotten because you got a Mecca, he's kind of a go-to guy, and then Jeremiah, you can't help but throw it up to him. But Carnell Tate, slowly, quietly creeping up the boards here. He just had 5 catches last week. Quiet little, 50, 60 yards. Didn't get in the end zone yet, but Tate's a good one, and I think he's going to be somebody that maybe Iowa can't account for.
He plays hard.
Cover so many guys.
He does. He looks
best
good.
blocker on the team, that receiver. Yeah, and he takes pride in it. So then on defense, I'm going Caleb Downs. I think he's going to be coming downhill against this Iowa running game. Get it?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, good one, Joe. Thank you. So, yeah, I think he is going to be a factor in this run game. He is going to have to slow down some of these big gainers, keep them down inside of 5 yards, not letting them break out to 10-plus yard gains in the run game. So, Caleb Downs, he had his welcome to Ohio, he wasn't in Columbus. So, welcome to Ohio State moment last week. Led the team in tackles and chipped in a couple TFLs. So, Caleb Downs is my guy. And I think this might be just the tip of the iceberg for him in a Buckeye uniform. And we're going to see a lot more flying around. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he reads and reacts and diagnoses these plays and just shoots up field and makes a tackle at the line of scrimmage. I don't freaking know it. From a deep safety. He's playing a freaking deep safety. Come on. So that's where I'm going. We got one more minute to give our Big Ten top 4 college football playoff teams. I know we skipped last week, so I wanted to make sure we get it in, so to say. Jeff, I think we are circling back around to you. Give me your top 4 Big Ten teams if the playoffs were to start tomorrow.
In order.
Sure, that would be helpful.
Okay, I'll go in order. Yeah, we will go the Ohio State Buckeyes. We will go State Navy Lions, Oregon Ducks, Illinois, the Fighting Illini. Number 4.
It's pronounced Illinois.
Going all the way off. Going only off of the big time win. I think it's going to look at a big time win in Lincoln 2 weeks ago, putting them ahead of Nebraska.
Okay. Shawn?
Yeah. So, I think I'd be really shocked. I'd be really shocked if you have a different top 3 than what Jeff has given. But to me, I'm throwing Indiana in my 4 spot.
Nice.
I knew it. Fighting Cinettis.
Yep. Hoosiers in the 4 hole.
Yeah, I was thinking Indiana too, but I was like, I just couldn't bring myself to put Indiana in there yet.
Right? But
yeah, I don't think either one of those teams. I think there's more losses for both of them. I kind of lead you in on my pick next week when Michigan goes up to Champaign.
Michigan's got to go to the West Coast this weekend.
Yeah, Washington.
Oregon? Washington, yeah. But that's a shell of a Washington team.
So my top 4, I'm going Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, USC. I'm keeping USC in my top 4, mostly because they've only lost 1 game, and maybe they could turn this defense around. I don't know.
Maybe Joe, but we haven't seen it yet, so I'm not counting on it. If they do,
we've never seen it out of a Lincoln Riley squad ever at any level anywhere.
I get it, but I think they can outscore everybody they go up against, except maybe Penn State the rest of the season. They got Minnesota, then Penn State, but Maryland, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, and Notre Dame, they can outscore all those guys, except maybe Penn State.
All those guys can run.
What?
A lot of those teams can run for 250 yards on them too.
Well,
I mean, it's going both ways.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah. I will see. Well, I mean, yeah, if they get that run game stop, if they can stop the run game, yeah, USC is
They
they're definitely dangerous.
they
I
came
just
back
don't
in that
I just don't
second
think they
half
can.
against Wisconsin and shut down that run, man. Just saying.
But Wisconsin
I
hasn't been
get
able
it.
to run all year.
Yeah, let me see
Well,
somebody after.
they ran in that
It's
game.
not your
It
dad's
seemed like.
Wisconsin either.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well, yes, I mean,
Rutgers
so in
Nebraska will be
Indiana,
an interesting game.
yeah.
Hey, at least Tyler Van Dyke's not their quarterback anymore. That has to be a good thing at
So,
Wisconsin.
so you're saying they have a chance?
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
Well,
I
we
think
got it.
whiskey's down this year a lot, so
Yeah.
they're not a measuring stick.
Right. All right. Well, we got to get out of here. I got to get some sleep. I am hurting for a squirting. That doesn't make sense. Anyway,
No.
I got to go blow my nose and wrap it up. So appreciate everybody joining us early. Thank you. And please hit like and subscribe on the video. I will go back through all of your comments. And please be sure and leave comments under the video later on if you want me to reply to those. But I am going to go through all these scores. I see Sage, Steven, Buckeye Dog 22, Odysseus, of course, Billy, of course, and who else? Small Town, Texas Scratcher, huge favorite of the show. Badass Buckeye, what's up, Bab? So, yeah, we appreciate you guys. I'm going to go through your scores and copy them all down so we have them. We can go over those next week or, I don't know, next available show. So, anyways, let's get out of here. Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you for hopping on early.
Sure.
And
No problem. Thanks, bud.
we will see you next week. Go Bucks.